Miss Leslie here with this week's Preschool Kit to Go, and this week our theme is snow. We can't have snow day this year, but we can have some snow theme fun. Inside the kit you will find some papers with some suggestions for activities, as well as a bunch of different things. We'll take a look at that in a moment. And then if you would like to see some additional ideas for activities that you can do with your little one to help develop those kindergarten readiness skills, just watch the rest of this video. You don't have to do it all at once. Maybe set one of the activities up, watch a brief bit of the video and do that, and then come back to it another day. We hope that you have fun for the next couple of weeks with this kit and that you enjoy our snow theme. In this kit, you will find a packet of 6 papers and some plastic cups filled with quite a few different things. Let's see what's in there. We have 2 pipettes, 5 cue cards, some plastic gloves. In a little baggie, you will find water beads, and we'll talk more about those soon. You will find a small scoop, some stickers just for fun, a pack of instant snow, a bunch of different pom-poms. There are some blue sparkly ones, some white sparkly ones, some plain blue, and some plain white. Those are our snowballs, I guess. You also have 2 of these little porcupine balls. They can kind of stick together or just be used for some fun tactile play. And then you also have a stamper, various different colors, and you will find 1 little polar bear. It's actually a finger puppet, so you can make up stories with him. The first paper in your packet is for doing some letter or number matching. You will notice that we have both English and Spanish available. So use whichever side you want or use the snow globe on both of them. It doesn't matter. So I've gone ahead and put some letters, written some letters down within the snow globe. Remember, it's best to start with uppercase letters since those are more recognizable for children. And also best to start with the letters in their own names. So I put in a mixture here. You can do whatever is appropriate for your child. You're the one who knows where they're at. So simple matching game, find the letter T, and then they will just pick up a pom-pom, which is practicing that pinch or grasp, and placing it on the correct spot. You can add a level here by giving them a 2-part direction, which works on those cognitive skills. You could say, put a white pom-pom on the letter L. Or you could even add another layer to that and say, put a blue pom-pom on the letter that starts your name. So there's really a 3-stage process there. Now you can also use this for numbers, and I just did put on the back. I wrote some numbers, and I also did the dot representation. Again, we want children to eventually learn how to look at a collection of items and know what number that is without having to count. So you might say 1, put blue pom-poms on the 1, or again, just regular 1. Just saying put a pom-pom on. So you could put it in there, and then you could say, can you find another snowflake that shows 1? And in that case, you'll be going for the representation with items, like a set. So you can do both of those. And here we have a couple of pages to practice some tracing, some writing, some cutting, whatever is right for your kiddo. So we've got a squared off lines and a curvy line. And the first thing to do here would be just to trace with your finger following the pattern. This works on visual tracking, following the lines, as well as physical tracking. So you'll just have them trace the lines all the way around with their fingers. And it's actually a little bit more tricky than you might think. The next stage in that is to hold on to something, maybe one of these fun porcupine balls, and you could first move it along like you did with your finger, And then if you want to get super tricky, and this will really work all those little grasping muscles, you could roll the ball along the lines. And now that does definitely take more work. This would probably be the easiest ball to do it with because it has a little bit more mass. Also with this, you're going to get the sensory input of all these little prickly things. They're called porcupine balls, obviously, because they look like the little quills of a porcupine. Now, once you finish tracing with objects, you can also trace the same thing with a crayon or marker. I don't have one handy, but obviously just follow along. And then if you're done with that, you could actually cut these lines too using your scissors. Now, this is going to be very tricky to cut. You might want to cut it off into different pieces or sections just to make things a little bit better. And then another option is we have our little Snowflake Stampers. You could have them stamp all along the line. Again, that's a tracking exercise with their visual tracking and also physical with moving the stamps around. On heavier paper, you have a dozen winter snowy words. So go ahead and talk about these, talk about what you do with them, why you use them, just really expand upon all of these little things here. Some of them are probably things that aren't a part of your life because we don't really have snow here, but take this opportunity to talk about maybe a time that you have been to the snow, or if you've never been to an area with snow, talk about that. Tell a story about your childhood. Kids love hearing about when their parents were little, so again, it's a great language opportunity to just talk and share with each other. Now, you can go ahead and obviously work on, you could talk about the beginning sounds of each of these words. Hat, hat. You can also cut these into their little squares. Oops. I have cut these all up. And you can lay them out and do them as a matching. So you can do this two different ways. You could do them with the picture side up and just say, find the other sock, or find this, or find two things that go together. So it's you want to start with a smaller subset rather than all 12, just so that it's not so overwhelming and so many things to look at. Then the next thing you could do with these is turn it into a little memory game. So you would turn them all upside down. Again, start with a smaller subset, certainly. And the idea of the game is that you each take turns, turning one up, and then trying to find where the other one is. And if you get a match, you get the match. If not, you turn them back. So that didn't match, so you would turn that back down. So yes, use these as a memory game too. We have a page that has a couple of little songs or rhymes that you could do that, of course, follow along with the theme of snow. Go ahead and sing these songs and do all of the suggestions down there. Certainly add some actions and talk about the things that you are singing about too. With the song to the tune of Wheels on the Bus, the hat on my head, it keeps me warm, keeps me warm, keeps me warm. The hat on my head, it keeps me warm when it is cold. And then you could ask your child to think of other things that could keep them warm. Now, of course, you could flip this and talk about what you might wear when it's hot outside and switch to a swimsuit and flip-flops and things like that. So have fun with these little rhymes and just do some singing together. Next, we have a sorting exercise. Using those pom-poms and some of the cups, you can set some criteria for sorting. So you might say all of the white things in here, all of the blue things in here, and your child will have to sort them. Or you could sort by size. Now there are, you could possibly do it on 3 sizes, but it would probably be easier to do small and large, but you could say small and large, obviously take away a cup, and go ahead and sort those. And you could maybe do medium, small, medium, large. Take a look at the pom-poms. There's an assortment in each one, so it may be that there's an obvious small, medium, large And here there is. So then you could do the 3 sizes. You could also sort them based on their tactile properties. So the ones that are smooth or soft, the ones that are kind of prickly, and the ones that are super prickly. So these little glittery pom-poms are super fun just to look at. And think of the words that you could use to describe that. Spiky, shiny, pointy. Kind of looks like a little germ to me in some ways. Oh no, it's a coronavirus. No. So yeah, go ahead and sort with those. All right, it's time to get those fun little plastic gloves out of your kit. You may have more than you need. They were hard to separate, so I just ended up putting a fair number in each kit. So for this, go ahead and put all of your pom-poms inside the glove. Don't use the porcupine ones. They're a little bit more difficult. What you want to do is just move all of the pom-poms into a finger. So this is just really some motor practice. And then you could add the sorting aspect. You could say this finger, or all of these fingers get blue, these fingers get white. Another thing you can do is write a number. So you could write 1, 2, 3, 4, just using a Sharpie, and then you have to get the correct corresponding number of pom-poms within that little finger of the glove. So 1, 2, I'd get 1 over here. Yeah, so that's the idea with that. If this is too fiddly, because they will need to hold one hand down, you could put a piece of tape across the bottom, across your counter or your table, wherever you're playing this game. Let's get our little polar bear friend out and have some fun with him. Of course, as I said, he is a puppet, so make up a little story for this guy. Have him going through his polar bear day, or decorating for Christmas, or playing in the snow, or whatever you'd like. Also, this is a great little prop to use with those spatial words and prepositions that we've talked about before. These are words like on, in, under, beside, in front of, next. They're all words that represent spatial positions, and that's actually a really important math concept. So, put the polar bear on the cup, put the polar bear in the cup, put the polar bear behind the cup, put the polar bear next to the cup, and take turns doing that. You can give the directions, your child can put it somewhere, or then you can switch that up. They can put the polar bear somewhere and you describe it. So yeah, just have fun with that little guy. He's cute. And now for the next level of polar bear fun. I took my little polar bear guy and I put him in a small bowl of water and I froze him overnight. So I've just had it out for a few minutes now so it could melt a bit. I was able to take it out of the bowl. And we can take this and put it in a larger container of water, a bowl, or do it in the sink, or maybe even in the bathtub. So you've got him floating around there, and you could even try blowing on him to see if he'll move around, just feeling the ice, talking about how cold it is, the color of the ice, the shape of it. And then if you get your pipettes, we can have a little bit of fun while strengthening the fine motor skills here. So with this pipette, if you squeeze it, put it in a bowl, and let go, you're going to get some water up there. Now, have this bowl be a little bit warm. Warm water, not too hot that it's going to hurt you or hurt your fingers, but warm enough that it will help to melt that ice. And so the game here is just to repeatedly squirt the warmer water on and try and free the polar bear. So it helps to demonstrate this with your kiddos a few times and then to create sort of like a little chant. So if you say squeeze, dip, let go. Squeeze, dip, let go. And it's fun to watch that water come up and then you could squirt them. And you do have 2 pipettes, so you could both be squirting at the same time and make it a little game and see who will get the polar bear free. The blue plastic cups, in addition to being used for sorting, can also be used just for building. So you can try and build a little tower Or you can add these cue cards and build up taller. So if you put 1 cup and then balance a card on top, you can stack them directly on top of each other. So, oh, you're not going to see this in the video, but the tower can keep going. So that will help you to build. And again, you add numbers in here, you add descriptive language, get the tower as tall as you can. Then you can even do add 1 to the tower or take 1 away, which means you're really working on addition and subtraction. Another thing you could do with the cups and the cards is make some little bridges. Now, you could make up a story saying that our friend Mr. Polar Bear has to get across the dangerous river, I suppose, and he needs a bridge. How can you build a bridge? And let them just think about that and be creative and see what they can come up with so that they can get their little polar bear to safely cross the bridge. So this is encouraging them to problem solve, to think things through, to work on those engineering skills, and to do a little practice and recovery when things don't work out the way that they want them to. They will probably have some failed attempts. That's a great opportunity to talk about what do you do when you're frustrated, how do you come back from that, and the importance of trying things again and experimenting. We talked a little bit about growth mindset last time, and that's really what you want to instill. There are things that maybe they can't do yet, but they will be able to do them. And growth mindset is exactly that. You think that you can grow and continue to learn. So instead of thinking, I can't do that, it's, I can't do that yet. Okay, for our next activity, you have a small plastic bag with a bunch of little teeny tiny beads. These are water beads, and they are so much fun to play with. I just want to caution you, make sure that your little ones, your little ones do not ingest these. These are not edible. They should not be swallowed. They should also not be put down the drain, and I will show you why. When you take your little beads and put them in a container and add water, overnight they will change to this. Now, I think you can see that I have quite a few beads in here. I actually had about half the amount that you have in your bags. You want to take this amount, or you could do it half at a time, doesn't matter, and add about 6 to 8 cups of water. So I filled this with water last night. I put the water beads in there and I left it overnight. And this morning, when I came to look at them, they had certainly grown in size from these teeny tiny beads to these quite large orbs. I did pour off the excess water. Depending on how long you leave them, they may get even larger and soak up more water. So this is just for fun, for the tactile sensory experience. They're fun to hold, they bounce. Now, the reason you don't want to put them down the drain is because they will enlarge to this size. So if you are done with them, when you're done playing, leave them out without a cover, and they will actually dehydrate and shrink back down to the small size, and they are reusable. So just remember that. If you want to keep them in their nice full sense like they are here, just make sure you close up whatever container you're using with them. Now, you can put some other things in here and make it a sensory bin. You probably don't want to put the pom-poms in since they'll just get fuzzies all over the things, but you can put any other hard or plasticky kind of things in there. You will see that you also have a little scoop and scooping and pouring. It's a great activity. It works on hand and arm strength. And it works on understanding spatial things too, like how many does it take to fill up this cup? You could do that. If you want to add in some other elements, you could sort these by color. Now this would take a long time, but maybe you want to use a dice and say, find 5 white dots, white balls white snowflakes, whatever you want to call them. And so they're going to have to reach in there and get just the ones that you want. Oh, did you see them bounce in there? That's great, look. Boom. They're very bouncy, very fun. You can sort all of them into their, I think there's 5 different colors. Let me see. There's a green, a clear, a blue, a white, and okay, maybe I think there's a turquoise too. Whatever. You can work on identifying those colors and just having fun. Any of those other little things that we've had in previous kits, like the little acrylic leaves, the little hard plastic ones, or maybe even you can put the spider rings in. Add some things in here and have them dig around and just play. And now it's time for our snow. Get your little package of snow, cut it open and pour it into a bowl, something that has a fair bit of room. You can use the same type of container that you use for the water beads. You're just gonna dump the powder in, add 8 ounces to 9 ounces of water, and you will see in just like 20 seconds, it will turn into this snow. So you can go ahead and play with that with all the same things. You can add this in with the water beads. You can scoop that snow. It doesn't pack very well, so you probably can't make a snowman or anything, but it's just another fun thing to play with. And this will actually stay in this kind of fluffy form for a few days. If it does start to dry out, you can just add some more water. And I don't know if you can rehydrate this if it dries out, but it's certainly worth an experiment or a try if you want to do that. So have fun in the snow.